Choosing your school in Wizard 101 is the most important decision you'll make in the entire game, and if you pick it wrong, you'll probably regret it. Some schools dominate solo, some are great in teams, and some sound cool, but will make your early game way harder than it needs to be. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which school fits your playstyle, whether you want maximum damage, survivability, team support, or just the best and easiest school to play possible. So let's break them down, starting with the school of Storm. Storm is your typical glass cannon. You'll be getting the highest DPS, the highest damage. You'll always be in the hitting role in a team setting. However, you have the lowest health, the lowest resist, and the lowest accuracy in the entire game. Especially in the early game, Storm can be a bit tricky. You're going to find yourself fizzling a lot, dying a lot, and for a new player, it can be frustrating, and it can be a turnoff from the game. For its unique abilities, it doesn't really have much outside of its pure damage. It has some healing capabilities sprinkled in, but for the most part, your damage is going to be carrying you throughout the entire game. If you're just getting started to Wizard 101 and you don't know what school you're going to pick, but DPS really interests you, I would say go for Storm and give it a try. Just be warned that you may fizzle a lot, you may die a lot, and you just have to work through it until your stats can essentially put a band-aid on the low accuracy and the low health. Ice. Ice is the exact opposite of Storm. It has the lowest damage in the entire game, but the highest health and the highest resist. So your survivability is extremely high. However, your damage is so low to the point that questing can feel like such a grind, and it can really turn you off from the game at some points. As someone whose first wizard was in ice, I can tell you firsthand that the questing experience can be extremely off-putting at times. And if you're just starting out to the game and you get bored very easily and you have to move through quickly, or you find enjoyment in damage, I would say definitely do not go for ice. Also, if you're someone who enjoys support, you may initially think, oh, ice, tank, support. No, ice cannot support in the way you think it can. Other than taunting and shields, there is no real way an ice can be impactful in a team setting. It has an extremely hard time buffing other schools, which a support needs to be able to do, and it can't heal. So in terms of support, it's really not that good. There are multiple schools that I will get into later in the video that will be better support options. So if you're looking for support, I would also not go with ice. And if you're thinking about choosing ice, go for it, try it out, but just be warned, the questing experience can be quite a drag. Next up, we have fire. Fire, similarly to Storm, has high damage, high DPS, and is usually in the hitting role. However, it is a little bit more well-rounded than Storm, so you're going to be getting a little bit more health, a little bit more resist, with a little bit less damage than Storm. Because of this, as a new player, Fire is extremely forgiving. You're not going to die as much, and you're not going to fizzle as much either, so it's going to be a much smoother questing experience, especially in the earlier levels. On top of that, Fire really sets itself apart from other schools by using damage over time, or dot spells. Dot spells will deal damage over a set number of rounds. A good example of this is Fire Elf, where there is an initial hit, a smaller hit, and then there are 3 iterations of damage over time. While these spells can be extremely strong and do a lot of total damage, if your goal is speed and getting through the game quickly, then these dots can hinder gameplay. So if you're someone who really needs to speed through the game quickly and you like one-shotting enemies, maybe Fire is not for you, but Fire does have extremely high damage stats, so you will still be outputting a ton of damage, and you can surely be the hitter in any group setting, even over a Storm sometimes, depending on the enemy that you're fighting. So because of this, especially if you're new to the game, I would recommend Fire. It's forgiving, you do a lot of damage, and your progression feels very strong as a wizard. You have that 4-pip AoE in Meteor Strike, you have a good 7-pip AoE in Fire Dragon. So in terms of spells, you're set, your stats are very good. Fire is just a great school all around that favors that DPS category. Next up, we have the school of Myth. Myth is very interesting. It has high damage, lowish resist, lowish to mid health. It's very well rounded, leaning slightly in the DPS category. But what's interesting about Myth is that it was built on this idea of conjuring up minions and summoning creatures to fight with you. While this may sound very interesting at first, the truth is that minions are extremely weak in this game, and they don't scale with you and you can't control them, making them borderline useless. So I'm sorry if you were excited about being some powerful conjurer. It's not going to happen, at least not how the game is now. However, that being said, Myth is still a great school. It favors DPS, but it has great survivability for a DPS school. It's great for soloing, it's good in team play, you have great spells in Humongo Frog as a 4-pip AoE, and Orthoris as your 7-pip AoE, which is one of the strongest in the entire game. So Myth, although you don't see that many Myth wizards running around, I think it's extremely underrated, and if you're thinking about Myth, I would say definitely give it a shot and see if you like it. Life. Life is the healing school in Wizard101. That's its bread and butter. It can get you from 0 to max health in one spell. That's their forte. But other than that, what do they do well? They have high health, high resist, and high accuracy. So they're very consistent. And their damage does lack, but it doesn't lack as much as people think. They can still deal a lot of damage to their enemies, especially with a spell like Forest Lord, which is extremely strong, and for Life's damage per pip, it is very high. However, in the early game, Life can be a little bit of a drag, especially if you're a new player. And I say this because you do not have a 4-pip AoE that you get naturally. If you want a 4-pip AoE as a Life, there are two options. You can either get a pet item card, or you can train Rat Spin with Spellaments, both of which are extremely inaccessible for a new player. So if you're just starting out in Wizard101, choose Life if you like support roles and you like those well-rounded, consistent schools. Just be warned that the early game might be, especially Arc 1, might be a little bit of a drag and a grind just because of that lack of 4-pip AoE. Balance. Balance is an extremely interesting school because it doesn't play like the other 6 schools in Wizard101. It has average damage, average resist, average health, and average accuracy all across the board. What makes Balance unique is one, that it harnesses a little bit of magic from all of the other schools and uses it in its own way. Second of all, it is the best support school in the entire game because its blades are universal. So Balance can, all of its buffs are universal buffs, any school can use them. So in a team setting, Balance is extremely powerful, but in a solo setting, it lacks. Because of this, I would say if you're a new player, maybe don't do Balance as your first wizard, just because as a solo, Balance can be a little bit tough, it can be a little bit bland, boring, but it is an extremely fun school to play. So if you're up for a challenge as a solo or you like playing as a group, I would say Balance could be for you. Last but not least, we have Death. Death is widely regarded as the best school in Wizard101, and for good reason. It has above average damage, above average health, above average resist. It really has everything in terms of stats that you need. But what really sets Death apart is its ability to drain health from its enemies, just like a Necromancer does. So what a drain does is it deals damage, and you get half the amount of health back that you dealt. So if I deal 200 damage to an enemy, I will get 100 health back. And as you can probably tell, that is an extremely overpowered, broken system, but it is in the game. Death is also an extremely strong support school. It has buffs, universal buffs, that any school can use, and they're extremely strong. Spells like Curse, Faint, Dark Pact are all attributing to Death's support capability. So as you could probably tell, Death can do everything. They can hit, they can heal, they can support, and they can tank. And while Death is extremely strong, the only drawback is that it does not have a natural 4-pip AoE. As a new player, you likely won't have access to Deer Knight or Ship of Fools, which are lore spells that you get through packs or gold key bosses. So you'll have to use single target hits until you get Scarecrow. But once you get Scarecrow, the game is easy mode and you just don't have to worry about dying ever again. So now that you've seen every school broken down, the truth is there isn't one best school. The best school is the school that you enjoy playing the most. If you want max damage, go Storm or Fire. If you like support roles, life, balance. If you want to be the most self-sufficient, if you want the easiest solo experience, go for Death. But I am curious, which school are you picking, and did this video help you decide? And if you've already chosen one, do you regret it? Do you wish you would have watched this video before you picked? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see y'all in the next one.